What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Battle Pack Series 28, AJ Lee and Big E. Here we have AJ Lee and of course Big E. They do come with a cookie sheet. Spinning it around to the back, we have a lovely picture of AJ Lee and a okay picture of Big E. You know, I'm more fond of AJ. It says recreate the action of the WWE. Other figures in Battle Pack 28 include Jimmy and Jay the Usos, and Luke Harper and Eric Rowan of the Wyatt family. So I'm really glad I have this pack, so what I'm going to do now is take a little break, get it to open up, and we'll go on to the rest of the review, so sit tight everyone. And so here we have Big E and AJ Lee posing out of the packaging. Now before we get on to the figures themselves, they did come with one accessory, it being this cookie sheet. It's a really stiff plastic, you really can't bend it. Not really sure why they have a cooking sheet. I mean, do they like cookies? I don't know. But there's some nice detail in it. It does have a little ridge right here, as well as some depth. But it's not at all like the Jax one that had like the dent in it. It's just a solid plastic, and like I said, it's not very malleable. It's actually pretty stiff. So that's that accessory. And before we get on to AJ and Big E, what I'm going to do is move AJ off to the screen, off camera, so we can go on to Big E himself. I really don't know what to say about this figure. I didn't pick this set up for Big E. I mainly picked it up for AJ. But I'm guessing he's an alright figure. I do like that this is the newer torso that Big E has. His old one had the singlet going right across his chest at about mid-height. So this is the newer singlet Big E. And it looks really nice. And just for a comparison really fast, let's move Big E off to the side and bring in the Elite Big E. And as you can see, this is what I was talking about, the singlet. The new Elite Big E is going to have an updated singlet, but you can see just from the two standing side by side what I mean by his singlet coming down lower. And actually, I think I like the face on him a little more. He looks a little like David Otunga, like I said in his review. But don't get me wrong, there's something off about both their faces. It just doesn't look like Big E to me. Maybe if this one had this one's goatee, it would look better, but it just does not look right to me, and I can't put my finger on it. The hair is better on his. I think the head is better proportioned on the basic one than the Elite one. I might end up doing a head swap. But really nice figure, and like I said, I don't hate the figure, but at the same time, I don't love it. And let's actually get some detail into Big E right now. Like I said, that face sculpt, it just doesn't look like Big E enough for me, and I don't know what it is. I mean, it's a nice sculpt, but it just doesn't look like Big E. You can see the line on his singlet, the designs on the back. Yeah, I just can't put my finger on it why I don't like this figure too much. Like I said, it might be the head sculpt that's throwing me off, but there's nothing wrong with him. I just can't get behind this particular head sculpt. But going on, he does have a head. Going on to his articulation, he has a ball jointed head. He can look up, down, left and right, as well as some slight left and right bobble. Arms on a ball joint go out. They're pretty stiff. Do a full 360, once again pretty stiff, and it's the same for both arms. He swivels at the bicep, bends at the elbow, spins and bends at the wrist. No ab crunch of any sort, but he does have a waist joint. Legs go forward and back about that far. No outward movement because he is a basic figure. He is single jointed in the knee. As you can see right there, he spins at the boot and has an ankle hinge. So really nice articulation on Big E. So what I'm going to do now is get him off camera and bring in AJ Lee. So sit tight everybody. And so here we have AJ Lee out of the packaging, and like I like to call her, Miss AJ Punk. Let's get a good 360 of her. I'm going to say this is probably my favorite AJ figure, and probably my my most favorite AJ figure that I own. I only own 2, but I actually like this design. But going on her, she does have a lot of nice details going on, but let's actually go on to some of her detail before doing a comparison really fast. I really like that head sculpt. It does look like AJ Lee. It also kind of looks like Melina, but you know, it looks enough like AJ that I can get behind it. She has her Love Bites t-shirt, well, shirt, with the tears in the back and the sleeve. You can see she has wristband, or these bracelets on each arm. She has a belt that is painted on and not sculpted on, which is a little bit of a bummer. Her jeans are painted, not sculpted right there. She does have knee pads, and her chucks, the chucks that she wrestles in. Okay, and going on, like I said, we're going to move her off to the side and bring in another AJ for comparison. And here we have AJ's first release next to her latest release, and there are some significant differences in them. Of course, it's going to be the attire, but the head sculpt is also very different, as you can see. This one I think looks a little better than this one, and I don't know why this one has like a streak going down her face. It's odd, it wasn't there when I reviewed her, but going on, this one has a little more colored tone to her. This one is a little pale. This one looks like she actually has a tan. I'm not angry about that. It's a welcome change. But between the two head sculpts, I like this one a lot better than this one. They utilize mostly the same parts. From the calves to the neck, they use the same parts. I say calves because the boots are different. These boots make this AJ just a tiny bit smaller than this one. And that tiny bit does make a difference, as you can see. Their head sculpt, one of my fingers is lower than the other. And AJ is a really short girl, and I really do like that this figure represents that. Yeah, I would have liked if she had these chucks again, but you know what? These ones are nice. But going on to her articulation, she has a bulge in her head. She can't look up because of the way the joints rest, nor can she look down. But she can turn her head quite a bit, and that's because the hair is really soft and pliable. So I really do like that. Arms on a bulge and go out to about that far. They don't do a full 360, and the reason behind it is the way her shirt is sculpted. They go off at a kind of an angle. But I'm okay with that. She spins at the bicep, single jointed in the elbow, standard wrist swivel. She has this torso crunch right here, which I actually do love. And the joint I hate the most on any female figure is this awkward waist joint. I'm beating a dead horse when I say that the waist swivel should be up here, but you know what? No one's going to listen to me. Legs go forward, back, and out. She spins at the thigh. She is single jointed at the knee. She spins at the boot, and has a standard ankle hinge, excuse me. And that's AJ for you. So what I'm going to do now is bring Biggie back here and move on to my final thoughts. Then we'll wrap up this review, so sit tight, everyone. And so here we have AJ Lee and Big E posed for my final thoughts. And overall, I really do like this set. Even though I kind of only, well, it's not kind of, I did only get this set for AJ. I really don't care much for this basic Big E, seeing as how we're getting a new Elite Big E. And I believe it's Elite 32? Yes, it's Elite 32 with a new Daniel Bryan. But, like I said, I pretty much paid $20 for AJ. And looking at her at this one's online price, that's what it's going to be. Big E is kind of like an accessory, even though the cookie sheet is the accessory. I hate that cookie sheet. But I pretty much paid $20 for AJ with a Big E accessory. That's okay for me because, you know, she does have elite articulation, sort of. And Big E is just kind of like a throw-in for me. Is this set worth it? I would say yes. This is a really good AJ and is probably the definitive AJ figure we have ever gotten. Although this Big E, he's a pretty nice figure on his own. Like I said, I just don't collect basics too often. But if you can find this set, I highly suggest you pick it up, especially if you want an updated AJ Lee or you want an updated Big E until Elite 32 hits shelves. And with that being said, I am King of Dragons 5000, and I highly recommend the Battle Pack AJ Lee and Big E, and I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.